Recovery Hour. I'm Bob Sheritz, and we have a very exciting show. I know if you're watching live, I said we, and I'm the only one sitting in the studio today, but we will have some guests showing up about halfway through the show. And so that's very exciting. I'll let you know who that's going to be. I haven't been able to say this in a while. Happy Monday. We've been on Tuesdays once a month for a little while, and we are back on Mondays at noon with the Way Out Recovery Hour. I'm extremely excited about that. The opportunity to bring in various organizations and persons who have anything to do with recovery or helping others, and just making our city of Santa Clarita a better place to live. We have now a weekly opportunity to bring people in and to have some really incredible shows in store for you. And so one of the things that I want to do is I want to put out there my email address in case anybody has any suggestions for future shows and any recovery topics, anybody you think we should have come in, please send me an email at bob at thewayoutrocoveryscv.com. That's Bob at thewayoutrocoveryscv.com. I'm looking for ideas for the rest of the year and going into the next year for these weekly shows. And so I'm happy to put out there any information that people in recovery or thinking about recovery want or need or want to hear. So welcome back to Mondays. If Monday is tough for you, because I think it is for some people, where you're looking at this big week in front of you with, oh my God, all this stuff to do, I want to offer you a little perspective change. What a beautiful week we have in front of us with tons of opportunities to get stuff done, get into the holiday season if you're not already, even more so, and go out there and help people and help each other and love each other. So we have this big, beautiful, wonderful week sitting in front of us. And so take an opportunity, take a second right now to just go ahead and get grateful for the opportunities that you have sitting in front of you. If you are struggling or a loved one is struggling and you need some help, please reach out to us. We are available all the time. Our phone number is 661-296-4444. You can call me on my cell phone as well. That's also 661-383-6550. I will do my best to be available for you and answer any questions or help anybody we need. Asking for help in any issue, but particularly in substance abuse and mental health, is oftentimes some of the most difficult thing that we can do. We sit back, maybe knowing that we have a problem, maybe knowing that our loved ones have a problem, and kind of sitting back, hoping it'll get better, and really afraid to say something or afraid to ask for help. And I got to tell you that is going to be the most powerful thing that you can do. It's going to be the greatest step that you can take. And so, again, asking for help is the first step. And then you get to open this door into, either personally for yourself or for someone that you love, you get to open this door into what I've come to know as this wonderful world of recovery with all these opportunities, and there's just a beautiful world sitting in front of us. A little of my own personal sort of outlook on life now and how it's changed. I was stuck using drugs and drinking for many, many years, and I've been sober for a while now, for a little over 13 years. And in the last 13 years, I've gone from this little tiny world where all I could see was the drugs in front of me and how to get more and how to do this stuff. And I lived in this little tiny world, never paying attention to what was going on around me. And in the last 13 years, being in the recovery process, starting with asking for help, this world has just opened up tremendously to me. And I get to see this beautiful, beautiful world full of opportunities sitting in front of me. And I am amazed. And so if you or a loved one is suffering or, needs some help, please give us a call. Please reach out. And I would love to introduce you into just all the opportunities and the wonderful things that are out there. We are the Way Out Recovery. We are local here in Santa Clarita. We're an intensive outpatient program located on the corner of Plum and Bouquet Canyon. Our address is 28118 Bouquet Canyon. Drop by anytime and say hi to us over there. We love to have drop-in visitors. If you want to if you want to schedule an appointment for a personalized confidential assessment, you can do that either over the phone at 296-4444, or you can go to our website at thewayoutrecoveryscv.com, and there's a spot on there where you can check in and put in some basic information. It sends us an email directly, schedules you an appointment for a personalized confidential assessment. So drop on by anytime. Our goal over there is to help anybody who walks through our door, anybody who asks us for help, anybody who needs the help either for yourself or for a loved one. And so come and see us. If we are not the right fit for you, then we will find you a place. I mean, that is our goal, to help anybody who walks through the door. Our populations that we work with are adults and their families, and we also work with teenagers and their families as well. When it comes to teen treatment, it's not always drug and alcohol use. Sometimes there is, but teens, when they struggle, they will act out or ask for help in many different ways. And so it doesn't always look directly like just drug and alcohol use. There can be a lot of other things going on: poor grades, emotional overwhelm, maybe self-harm, depression, anxiety, mental health issues. And so if that feels like or sounds like something that you or a loved one might be struggling with, whether you're an adult or you're a teenager or you love one of those, again, reach out to us. Happy holidays to everybody. I hope everybody's in the holiday season. It's very interesting. It's taken me this year, it's taken me a little bit to get the train rolling on the holiday season. I don't know what that's all about, but I feel like I'm in full spirit now. The house is getting decorated and the kids are excited about it, and we're starting to have a lot of shows around holiday issues. One of the things that we're going to look at today, we're going to have some friends in here from an organization called the Compassionate Friends of Santa Clarita, and they are going to talk about how to get through their own loss and their own grief through the holiday season, and also talk about an event that they have coming up next week, which is a candle lighting. Remember, it's candle lighting. And so when they come in at halfway through the show, we're going to ask them details about that, and they're going to give us some really cool tools to help us through what for some people can be a tough season. If you've lost someone, or you're in the middle of a struggle, or you're having some difficulty in your life, sometimes the holidays can just kind of put that on a spotlight. It can make you feel like, God, man, so-and-so is missing, or it's been it's been a while since we've had them in the house. And those emotions can run high, and that's okay. It's okay for us to feel. In fact, it's good for us to feel. But how do we get through that without going over the deep end, without picking up drugs or doing something that's just going to get us in more trouble? And so they're going to help us look at how to grieve and get through grieving in the holiday season. A couple of announcements over at the Way Out Recovery. We're doing big things over there. We are expanding as fast as we possibly can, and we're getting lots and lots and lots of clients in there. We have been open for just over over a year and a half, and we're really excited to announce a couple of different things that have been happening. We have recently gotten some really big contracts with some insurance companies, which means that just about any insurance that you have, we can take. One of the things that's difficult in the recovery process is if you start calling places, say, I need to go into a rehab, and you are asking about what that costs financially, sometimes it can be pretty expensive. And so we don't want to add additional stress to anybody. We want people to be able to afford treatment. And so anytime that we can use your health insurance to try to get authorization for the treatment, we're happy to do so. And so we've been fighting to do that. I don't want to say fighting, but feels like a fight sometimes. We've been fighting to get contracted with some insurance companies for about a year and a half now, and I'm excited to say that we have gotten a bunch of contracts. We can take almost any insurance that there is. And so, you may be able to get treatment for you or a loved one without any cost to yourself. So make sure you give us a call. And if you don't, we are still an affordable treatment center. And again, if for some reason it can't happen, please come talk to us. If you think it can't happen, please come talk to us. Our goal is to make treatment available and to make it happen for anybody who asks for help, for anybody who needs that help, and anybody that comes through our door. And so please call us and ask us for help. But I'm excited because we've been working really hard at getting those contracts and that insurance stuff done, and we've finally gotten a lot of them. So we're real excited to announce that. Another part of our expansion and something else that we're doing is that we have just starting this week added additional groups. So if timing seems to be, or if the amount of time or scheduling with work or school or whatever seems to be like it is something that could get in the way, we are now offering multiple groups a day, 5 days a week. I will certainly, if somebody needs to meet with me on the weekends, I am certainly available to do that. If you're in crisis and need to talk to somebody, that's certainly 7 days a week. But 5 days a week, we are offering multiple groups a day. So we have daytime groups, we have evening groups, we have anything that'll fit in with your schedule. And so we're really excited to announce that. Something else that took us a while to get that I want to talk about, and I will definitely be getting out into the community and talking to any of the vet centers or people that are associated with veterans. We have recently gotten a contract with an insurance company called TRICARE. TRICARE is for active military and their families. And so that it will expand our services and allow us to treat a lot more people, for any veterans or veterans' families who are suffering with substance abuse or mental health issues. We can now accept your insurance and are able to work with you and your loved ones if you have a problem. So we're really super excited about that. Let me take a minute to slow it down. But I can talk when I get going on. Let me take a minute to slow it down, and I want everybody just to kind of settle into the holiday season. Welcome. I'd like to welcome the Way Out Recovery Hour back to Mondays. We're really excited about that as well. And so make sure that you guys are tuning in. If you're around a radio on a Monday at noon, well, tune in all the time, but especially if you're around a radio at noon on a Monday, tune into AM 1220 or FM 98.1. We also stream Facebook Live, so you can go to the KHTS Radio Facebook page and you can watch us live. We also share that on my personal Facebook page, which is Bob Sherritt's, or the Way Out Recovery SCV Facebook page. You can always watch us live or listen to us live, and you can get those previously recorded shows. If you type in, there's podcasts available, and there's video content available. And then, of course, if you have any personal questions and you want to reach out to us, please give us a call you can find our office line at 661-296-4444. You can find my cell phone at 661-383-6550. You can get my personal email, bob@thewayoutrocoveryscv.com, or you can get our website at thewayoutrocoveryscv.com, and you can put on personal messages or anything you need. If you're not sure if you need help, if you're not sure if a loved one needs help, that's a good phone call to make. Any of those avenues of contacting me, I would be happy to sit down and discuss with you what best treatment options are, what's best for this individual or for yourself. It's not always intensive outpatient, but we like to get you to the most appropriate level of care for whatever you're going through. And so we have multiple resources for if you're in need of a detox, which is, a medical, making sure you're medically safe coming off of drugs. It can be very dangerous coming off of drugs, or alcohol. Alcohol is actually the most dangerous drug to come off of, but we can do a whole show about that as well. Residential treatment as well. We have resources for a multitude of residential treatments, sober livings. We also, and then we provide intensive outpatient, which is multiple groups a week, really intense counseling that involves family. If you can, if your family's not available, we will treat you anyway. And then we have multiple resources for outpatient therapy as well. So, happy holidays. I'm glad we're back on Monday at 12 noon, the Way Out Recovery Hour. Tune into us on weekly shows, and we're going to take a few minutes to wrap up pretty quick here, and we're going to get into a commercial, and then we're going to come back in and talk with compassionate friends. So I really appreciate everybody listening to all that information that I just gave you. I hope it shows the excitement about being back on Mondays again with this wonderful radio station. I cannot say enough about Carl and Jerry and how wonderful this station is and everything that they do in the community. We're very, very blessed to have them in the Santa Clarita Valley. We are blessed to be residents of Santa Clarita. We live in the best city that I've ever come across. We have multiple resources for anything that you might be going through. And so I love that the way the people come together around here and help each other. And it's just a wonderful thing. So I'm Bob Sheritz. This is the Way Out Recovery Hour. We will be back in a couple of minutes.
Hi, I'm Miles McNamara, Certified Senior Advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in Home Care. Our caregivers help you in your own home. A Comfort Keeper can provide companionship, meal preparation, medication monitoring, assistance with personal care, transportation to doctor appointments, all enhancing your independence and safety in the comfort and privacy of your own home. So if you or someone you love could use a helping hand at home, call Comfort Keepers at 287-4200. That's 287-4200.
Aloha, friends! Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
We know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, The Way Out Recovery may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center treating Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Please call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444, and ask for Bob or Melissa for a free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program, and they accept most insurance. They can improve your life. Call The Way Out, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444. Or check them out online at thewayoutrecoveryscv.com. You can make the change. Ask The Way Out for help.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
This Christmas, join us for the ultimate holiday concert, A Very Merry Christmas with the Letterman, Sunday, December 9th, 5 p.m. at the Santa Clarita Performing Arts Center. The legendary Letterman here in Santa Clarita singing your favorite holiday classics. Joining them is Santa Clarita's singing sensation, Savannah Burrows, along with our very own West Ranch High School choir. You'll also hear the Letterman perform their string of top 10 hits. A Very Merry Christmas with the Letterman.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
The Letterman, Savannah Burrows, and West Ranch Choir, Sunday, December 9th. For tickets, visit canyonspack.com.
Merry Christmas.
Hometown, your hometown station.
came up to me and said I was the music.
Welcome to the Way Out Recovery Hour. I'm Bob Sheritz. Welcome back after the break. If you are just joining us, we are so happy holidays. First of all, like I said earlier, it's taken me a minute to kind of roll into the holiday season. I don't know why. I'm a little slow getting the train going this year, but I'm in full swing, and I want to wish everyone a happy holidays. And, holiday season is not, we see the lights, we see all the stuff, and although it is always a joyous and wonderful time, it's not always like that for everybody. If you've experienced a loss or you're going through a struggle right now, the holidays for some people can kind of put a spotlight on that grief, on that loss, on that heartache, on that suffering that you're going through. And so we are going to take some time today to talk about, what that's like. I have in studio with me Alice Reynolds. Hi, Alice.
Hi, how you doing?
And we've got a lot of these shows now, right?
Yeah, we have.
Seems like twice a year we usually do this around the holidays. And we also do it right around the time for the
Evening of Remembrance,
at the Youth Grove. And so a couple of times a year, it's good to have you back in studio.
Thank you for having me, as always.
So when I saw Alice right now and I gave her a hug and I said, "How you doing?" and she said, right? It was like it's like that for you during the holidays.
Yes, tough time.
So, I think I say this twice a year. I'm going to say it again. God, I can't say how sorry I am for your loss. It's been 18 years.
Yes, it has.
And time doesn't make it any better, does it?
Time softens that wound, but it just never goes away. You never get over it. You just, and in parts that you don't want it to go away because you don't want to lose those memories of your children, but the wound, the edges of it soften.
Right.
But it's a searing pain that you never, ever get over. You just never get over losing your child. You just never do. And losing a child is so different than losing a brother or a sister or a parent. My husband lost 2 brothers, a sister, and both his parents. And he will tell you that losing his 2 sons is so different than losing any of those other.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. We're supposed to outlive our kid. I mean, our kids are supposed to outlive us.
Yes, absolutely.
And when it's turned the other way around, it just, I can't imagine how much that must hurt. We're going to talk about a couple of things today. You belong to an organization called Compassionate Friends.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that organization?
Yes, Compassionate Friends is a self-help support group, and it's run by parents who've lost children. So it's not any psychiatrist or anything running that group. It's parents who've been through that same pain. We meet once a month at a church over on on Bouquet. It's a no-fee program. We just sit there and we talk and we try and show other parents that there's a light at the end of that tunnel, that you can get through this. I mean, I can tell you that I first started going there, I sat there and cried and could not even say my name because I saw parents there smiling and laughing, and I thought, I lost 2 children. I will never get to that point.
Yeah, like how the heck are you smiling?
Yes,
laughing,
you lost
right?
a child,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, I'm never going to get there. But, here I am 18 years later, and I'm running that running that support group. And I want to show parents, yes, you can get there. And there is hope. There is hope. You can get there.
Yeah, I can imagine for someone like you, when the new people walk through that door, you just can just hug them and hold them and tell them, that it will be okay.
It will be okay. It will take time.
Right.
It will take time. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not going to happen a year. It may not happen in 5 years, but it can. You can see some ease on that heart. It will ease up. Absolutely.
And the Compassionate Friends is specifically for people who have lost children.
With children or grandchildren or siblings.
Okay.
Yeah. And if for any age, a child at any age, we had a parent come and they said, "Well, my child was 40 years old." That's okay. Any age for any cause, they can die from any reason.
If they've lost a child, a sibling, or
A
a
grandchild.
or a grandchild.
Yeah.
And how does somebody get a hold of you if they want to come to the meeting?
We have a email at tcf.scv@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page, the Compassionate Friends Santa Clarita, California Facebook page. And you can also just show up at our meetings the first Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock, and it's at the Fellowship Christian Church on Bouquet. And it's if you're familiar with the Goodwill building over there on Bouquet, it's right behind the Goodwill building. There's 2 glass doors right there, and that's where the church is.
Oh, on the backside of that.
The backside of the Goodwill building. Yeah.
So, yeah, the big Goodwill that's on Bouquet and Seiko.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
On the backside of that,
Yes.
of the front entrance of Goodwill, but right directly
behind it.
behind it.
Yes.
So the Fellowship Christian Church, 7 o'clock, first Thursday of every month.
Yeah, except for this month, December, we have what we call our holiday potluck, and that starts at 6:30 this month only for December.
Okay, and so that's the first. That's this Thursday.
Yeah, this Thursday.
So a couple of days from now on Thursday, if you, and it doesn't have to be a right now loss, right?
No, anytime. We have some parents like a couple years later that they're struggling.
Right.
They kind of push that grief down, and all of a sudden it's come back up to the surface, and they're having problems, and they need a place to come and talk. They come, absolutely, no matter how long down the grief it's been. They definitely can come.
Yeah, and so if you're listening and you're going, wow, I never knew a place like that existed, or I've heard about them, but I didn't know how to drop in or whatever, you know what? Show up this Thursday, 6:30. If there's going to be food, that's why I say 6:30.
Yeah,
a little potluck.
Yeah, this
right?
meeting is a little different. It's just
Right.
a holiday kind of get together, and we just kind of eat food and we kind of share a memory from the holidays. So it's a little bit different. Our meetings normally, we introduce ourselves and we kind of just share what's happening, and we usually have like a topic that we kind of talk about specifically. Sometimes we have a guest speaker, sometimes we have a little specific thing that we talk about.
Right.
So this meeting is a little bit different for December.
Well, and that's because we're in the holiday
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
And it's not just, there's probably more reminders during this time of year than any other of the loss that you're
Yes.
facing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure throughout the year,
Yeah.
right? Throughout the year, that it will hit you at certain times.
I wanted to say Compassionate Friends is a national organization. It's throughout the whole United States and other countries, and we're just the local chapter, and we've been around for 20 years here in Santa Clarita. So it's not something that just popped up. We've been here for 20 years.
And the best way to contact is that email address?
Yes, I have that email address, or you can call me. My home phone is 661-252-4374. We have another leader, but she's out of town right now, so I don't want to give her a phone.
252-4374?
Correct.
So 252-4374, that's Alice Reynolds' phone number at home. If you just need somebody to talk to try to get you to show up to the meetings or whatever, please do that. Mm-hmm. There's a candle lighting coming up.
Yes.
Correct? Is that an annual thing that you guys do?
This is our 18th annual candle lighting. It's actually the Compassion Friends' 22nd worldwide candle lighting, but our chapter, this is our 18th year that we've had this. It's always the second Sunday of December, which is this Sunday. It starts at 6:30. It's at we'll be at La Mesa Junior High, again at 6:30. And the concept behind this is that at 7 o'clock, worldwide candles are lit. It starts in New Zealand, and there's a virtual wave of light throughout the world. So
as it goes on the
time zones.
Yeah.
So there'll be candles lit around the world.
Starting in New Zealand.
Starting at New Zealand. So they're like a wave of light.
Right.
So at La Mesa Junior High, we have poems, we have readings, we have featured singers perform, and we hand out battery-operated candles to everyone who comes. It's a very emotional night. but it's very moving night. It's
Yeah,
kind of
heartfelt.
our way, to me, of kind of having a Christmas with our children. We say their names. We do have a slideshow, but it's kind of past the time of adding your child to the slideshow. If you come and you're moved by it, you want to add your child for next year, let us know. We can add them.
Yeah.
But we do have a slideshow. It's just a very moving night. We do have luminaries. If you are listening today and you want a luminary, you can contact me. Luminaries are a little bag with a candle in it. We have those lighting the sidewalk. It's a little fundraiser that we do for $10. And then you take the luminaries home with you for a little, put them on your sidewalk, outdoor or for your porch or indoor or whatever. You take
Right.
them home. It's just a very moving night.
Yeah, for a couple of different, for a couple of different reasons, and that is to remember those who have been lost, and also to honor those who've been left behind.
Yeah, it's it's something that we, as a bereaved parent, we don't ever want to forget them. We want to hear their name, remember them, and especially like for me, 18 years down the line, you find that even with my relatives, they don't talk about them. They don't want to say their names. They don't want to talk about them. And sitting at a family dinner or at Christmas, there's 2 empty chairs that I'm seeing, but nobody wants to talk about them. But there at that candle lighting, I see their names, I see their pictures, and that's my Christmas. I see them.
Yeah, and there's adding rituals to grief can be very helpful.
Yeah,
Candle lightings, putting ornaments on trees, whatever that is for an individual.
Yeah.
Those kind of rituals can be very, very.
Yeah.
It can help.
I started a Christmas tree when my sons first passed away, and I changed it to angels and butterflies. Butterflies are a symbol of new life.
Right.
That's one of the Compassion Friends things is butterflies and new life. And so every year I buy 2 new angels for my tree,
Right.
and it's covered with angels and butterflies. So that's one of my rituals.
Yeah, yeah. And you just talked about even family members. They're afraid to talk about it, or they're afraid to make you hurt more.
I'm not sure.
What's that all about?
I'm really not sure. I have some about 4 close friends that stood by me and walk with me, and they know that they can talk about my sons. And if I cry, they know that's okay because I'm talking about them. And if I'm crying, but that's okay. They know that if they make me cry, that I'm still talking about them. But I'm not sure why, But that's why Compassionate Friends is good, because we can sit there and we can talk about our kids, and we can all cry together, and we can all laugh together, we can all get angry together. Right. That's our place to talk about our kids.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, and it's not just sad. So let's take a moment and say your sons' names.
Tim and Danny.
Tim and Dan. Do you ever call him Timmy? Did you ever call him Timmy?
Well,
or
yeah,
no?
that's
He's a Tim?
funny. When he was growing up, it was always Timmy.
Yeah.
And then when he got older in high school, I'm Tim.
I'm Tim now, right?
So,
Yeah.
but Danny was still young enough that I could still call him
Danny.
Danny.
He hadn't turned to
hadn't-
Dan,
he
not
hadn't
Dan yet.
He hadn't changed to Dan yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been 18 years.
Yeah, it will be 19 in February.
Now, it was a pretty publicized story. I mean, a lot of attention in the media. It was behind, and a lot of things. A lot of good things have come out of it because of you and Tom's willingness to help, right?
Yeah, it was. Well, I think I made it that way.
Yeah.
A lot of it because, after their deaths, they were killed in a car of 5 teens.
So what happened? What happened that night?
They were backseat passengers of a car of 5 teens. The driver was driving 100 miles an hour and lost control and went on top of another car and killed the adult driver. And all 3 teens in the backseat were killed. So Tim was 18, Danny was 15, and the other teen in the backseat was 16. So all of the 3 teens in the back were killed. The 2 in the front seat, the driver 18, and the teen in the front seat was 17. They were walked away with scratches. So after that night, I can tell you that I didn't really want to live. I thought, well, what do I need to live for? my older son was 23 at the time. He was grown. He had just moved back home recently, but he was grown. He didn't really need me. And I really had a hard time thinking, what do I need to live
Like, what's
for?
my purpose
What's
now?
my purpose in life now? And really was having a really rough time. And my husband was having a hard time with me because I was crying all the time. And what are you crying for? What are you crying for? I'm thinking, what do you think?
Yeah.
You know, how men want to fix
Well,
things
and
all the time.
Yeah, and I've heard you talk about it before. Tom just kind of wanted to like hold it in, and
Yes.
then now plus he's trying to console
Yes,
you.
exactly. So
know?
I just, we started kind of going to the Compassion Friends meetings, which really helped. But I just thought I need something. So the sheriff that was there at the scene that night, who had to tell us that both our sons were dead that night, which was really tough on him. He was in charge of the every 15 minutes programs at the high school. And I had heard about these programs, and I thought, if I could talk at those high school programs to tell the kids what we went through with the deaths of our sons, all the steps that we had to go through, that maybe I could get through to these kids and save them. And maybe that would be my purpose for me to go on with my lives. Tim was a lifeguard. He worked at the city pools, teaching kids swim lessons and saving lives. And Danny had just passed his Fireman Explorer program. He wanted to be a fireman. He was so excited. He passed the physical. He was a little guy, and he was so excited he had just passed that. They had just called to set up an appointment for his interview. He was so excited about all of that. So they both were on the path to save people.
Helping professions,
and helping,
yeah.
yeah. So I thought, maybe that's what I need to do, follow in their footsteps and do something in the community to save kids. So that's kind of where I went.
Yeah.
So, it worked. I was talking at those assemblies, and kids were coming up to me and saying, thank you. You got to me. So that's kind of where I went.
Was there some sort of just an inner resource that you pulled from that said, if I sit here any longer, I'm not going to make it. I have to get out and do something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. You reach a point where I better do something or else, right? And you got out there. The first couple of times. So did you go to Compassionate Friends and then started talking every 15 minutes? Is that how it kind of worked out?
I think so.
Yeah. I imagine that first couple of times talking about it openly must have just been really difficult for you. Not that it's still not, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it's still difficult because, I work really, really hard to push that night down deep and not kind of remember it because it was tough. I mean, to go at the crash scene and to have that sheriff come tell me that, because we didn't know for sure that Tim was dead. And we had 3 teens come to our door and tell us they had seen him in the car and they thought he was dead.
You didn't think the boys were together that night?
No, we didn't.
Danny
Danny had stormed out of the house mad because we wouldn't let him go to the movies, and him and his father had gotten in an argument, and he'd stormed out of the house. We just thought he was at a neighbor's house. Right. So when we got to the crash scene, we 2 teens had been taken to the hospital and 3 were dead, but we really didn't know if Tim was dead or not. So the sheriff had to tell us that Tim was dead. Mm-hmm. So, and then later we found out from my son that they had picked up Danny at the movies. So then we had to tell the sheriff, and he had to walk down to the crash scene and come back and tell us, that Danny was in the car as well. And so it was just, that whole nightmare and staying there until, they kept saying, go home. And I'm like, no, I'm not leaving until I know they were loaded up into the coroner's van. I mean, that was my last thing that I could do as a mom. It was just to stay there and to know that they were safely loaded and, into the coroner's van. That whole night is such a nightmare. And it took me so long to be able to kind of bury that in deep down inside. So every time I speak, that whole thing comes up again. And it takes me weeks to kind of bury that back down again. So every time we speak, it's tough, but it's worth it because after we do speak, kids come up and say, oh my gosh, you got to me. So it's
and the message is always the same, excessive speed caused those deaths.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're right as a driver at any age, you better drive the speed limit and pay attention to what you're doing. It's the most dangerous thing that we will ever do.
And it's just not speeding or recklessly driving, it's texting and anything. It's just making good choices while you're in a car, adult or a teen, anybody. Yeah.
I look forward to having you on this show a couple of times a year, but it always, I can imagine what that's like for you, because it breaks my heart just to hear it. But you are helping. You're helping. You can't put a number on the amount of people that you guys have helped. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, I want to talk about the candlelight, and I also just want to real quick talk about the youth grove that's over there, and make sure everybody has that information, because we only have a couple of minutes when we come back. But thank you again, Alice.
Thanks, Bob.
This is Bob Sherritt's The Way Out Recovery Hour. We'll be right back.
Mission Valley Bank puts the community in community banking. They strive to be your most trusted bank. Mission Valley Bank is happy to sponsor KHTS Holiday Music. Happy holidays!
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back to the Way Out Recovery Hour. I'm Bob Sherritt, and if you are just joining us, you need to go replay this. It is, it's going to be available on podcast later on. It is Facebook Live, so you can go back and watch the videos on KHTS Radio's Facebook page, the Way Out Recovery's Facebook page, and I think we're able to tag as well the Facebook page of Compassionate Friends.
Okay. Great.
Right, is the Compassionate Friends of Santa Clarita. Mm-hmm. Is that the?
That's it. Yep.
So on the Compassionate Friends of Santa Clarita, like Alice was talking about earlier, the Compassionate Friends is a nonprofit organization that meets once a month. They are free for those who have lost either grandchildren, children, or siblings. Mm-hmm. And it is a group of people who get together and help each other through the grieving process. Obviously in the holidays, a lot of stuff comes up.
Yes.
A lot of stuff comes up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this coming let's do it as a timeline so people don't get confused. This coming Thursday is the first Thursday of every month. The first Thursday of every month at the Fellowship Christian Church, which is located on Bouquet Canyon, 26889 Bouquet Canyon Road, Suite C. If you are familiar with Bouquet and Seco and the Goodwill that's on Bouquet and Seco, it is in the back of that same building. 7 o'clock on the first Thursday of every month, but this Thursday will be a half an hour early because it's going to be a potluck because it's around the holidays, so it's a special.
Yes.
It's a special meeting.
Yeah.
Correct.
Correct.
And again, who should show up for the Compassionate Friends?
For the meeting, you mean?
For the meeting.
Oh, the meetings, like I said, is for parents, grandparents, or siblings who have lost. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be a new loss.
No, it can be any loss at any time. Absolutely.
If the holidays are bringing anything up, or you're listening to this show or watching it, and you're going, "Wow, it's been 20 years that I lost my child or my grandchild, but I'm still grieving," come and offer what you can to this group and get what you can from this group.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then this coming Sunday is an international candle lighting.
Correct.
6:30 is when the event starts. The candle lighting is at 7.
Yeah, we started at 6:30 because we have a couple of poems and songs before, and then we light the candles around 7. So, but we want everybody there at 6:30 because it actually starts at 6:30.
So there's poems and like speakers, and
we don't really have speakers.
Okay.
We just have songs, poems, a couple of readings. We have actual singers that perform.
And rumor has it our board op Shane's sister is going to be one of the the singers
Yeah,
over there.
absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
Coincidence, which is really cool. But that is at La Mesa Junior High School, 26623 May Way, at 6:30 this coming Sunday, December the 9th. Who should show up?
Anybody can come to that. Absolutely, it's open to the entire community. So if you have lost a child, and I mean, you don't have to belong to Compassion Friends to come to this candle lighting. If you've lost a child and you just want to come light a candle and remember them, come. Bring your neighbors, bring your friends, bring your relatives, or whatever. Just come and celebrate. Remember your loved one that's lost, and just join us.
One of the things that I do, and I like to encourage people to do, is whenever there's any kind of events or anything that are heavy, or they're around issues that are really tough for us to talk about, like grief and loss, or drug issues, or mental health, or anything like that. I like to bring my kids to those things. My sons are 9 years old and 6 years old, and I like to bring them there because I want to get them in the. I want them to be comfortable, or at least be able to talk about the things that people don't talk about.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that is about, other than when they or we experience loss, because we're all going to do that.
Well, I know a lot of people kind of keep grief and death in the dark. They don't want to talk about it. But it's,
Do you think that makes it more difficult when
I
it
think
happens?
it's more difficult. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because, a lot of people don't know how to talk to you about a loss. They turn around and ignore you and walk away.
Oh, right.
So if they experience and they're around it more, I think it's better. Absolutely.
Wow. Just when you said that, like people, I could see that happening, right? Oh my God, there's Alice. And I don't know what to say.
I've had it happen.
I don't know what to say, so I'm just going to walk away. If you didn't know that, Alice, and you saw that, I don't know what you'd think. Like, my friends are walking away from me. What's this all about?
We find that a lot in our group, that people lose a lot of friends because they don't know how to deal with it anymore. They just they stay away because they can't talk with them. They can't deal with it.
And so when events like this happen and people gather who have lost loved ones, part of what they're saying is it's okay to talk to us about this stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
And in fact, I think it's probably welcomed.
Yes.
In some way.
Yeah, we want to hear our child's name at any time for whatever reason. I mean, in this candle lighting is the theme of it is that their light may shine. Their light will always shine.
Right. And so it gives people an opportunity to talk about their loved ones and to remember them in that beautiful light that you guys are going to shine over there, and that they have always had within them, no matter what the circumstance of the loss is. That we always want to see our loved ones in that light.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Something that has come out of the loss of your sons is a thing called the Youth Grove.
Yes.
If the Youth Grove is, explain to us what the Youth Grove is. I'd rather you do it.
Yeah, the Youth Grove is up at Central Park, and it was built, I think, almost 12 years ago with the city. And it's tree stumps that remember youth that have been killed here in Santa Clarita, killed by traffic-related incidences. So it could have been a pedestrian hit by a car, it could have been on a motorcycle, it could have been on a dune buggy up in the desert or whatever. And it's just remembering them. It's under 24 years of age. And it's just a great place to take your kids, whether they're drivers or not, and just show them how many kids. I think there's 107 names up there now. It just has their name and forever 16, forever whatever age they are. Yeah. Show them how many kids we've lost here in this valley.
And we'll have you, we'll have you back on at the end of August and beginning of September, whenever the
first
date
weekend,
is.
I think first week in September.
And we'll talk specifically about the Youth Grove. But it is a very powerful place to visit in Central Park. It's the ceremony that you guys do every year is really powerful, and the message that you will walk away with is drive safely.
Drive safe. Think about
Yeah.
your choices behind that wheel.
Yeah, always, always, always. Texting and driving, distracted driving, unsafe speed, not putting on your seatbelts. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do. We used to have a gentleman come on, Officer Lutz
Yes.
from the Highway Patrol, and he would kind of sink home. These are preventable deaths.
Yes.
They're preventable
That's
deaths.
why I never call my sons an accident.
Right,
I always
right.
call it a car crash because it could have been prevented.
Yeah, because it's preventable, which that's, I think a lot of our lines cross. We do a lot of stuff around overdose deaths and drug stuff, and it's preventable.
Yes.
It's preventable. And even though they call them accidental overdoses, when we look at some of the illicit drug use and stuff, so many deaths can be prevented, and so much loss and so much grief, so. We have a couple of minutes left. I want to ask you if there's anything that you would like to say to not only to those listening, but I was going to say to Tim and Danny.
Tim and Dan. Oh,
You
you
thought I
want
was
to
going to say
make me
to
cry.
people listening, right? What would you like to say to Tim and Danny around the holidays?
I love you. I miss you. I wish I could give you a big hug. I hope you're having a great party up there with all the too many friends that we've lost here.
Yeah.
To the parents out there who suffered a death of a child or a grandchild, these holidays, be gentle with yourselves. Listen to your inner self. Don't listen to someone tell you how to handle the holidays. Do what you can. If you can't get through the holidays with the traditional stuff, do what you can do. Don't, do what you want to do. Don't listen to what someone tells you what you have to do. That's the most important thing. If you, don't want to put up a tree, don't put up a tree. Do what you have to do to get through the holidays. That's the most important thing.
And there's people like you, Alice, out there to help people get through this if they need to contact somebody.
Absolutely.
I know you put your phone number out there before. If you want to put your phone number out there in case anybody wants to get involved in Compassionate Friends.
Sure, it's 661-252-4374.
So remember, this coming Thursday, a Compassionate Friends meeting at the Fellowship Christian Church. And then we want everyone in the community to show up. All are invited to the candle lighting this Sunday at 6:30 at La Mesa Junior High School. And we're going to light those candles in remembrance of all those who have lost their lives. And so, Alice, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank
as
you for
always.
your bravery. I mean, you're so kind and loving and generous to come on and share your grief and your loss with us and the community and to help those who are going through it. So I can't say thank you enough.
Thank you for having me, as always.
I'm Bob Sheritz. This is the Way Out Recovery Hour, and we will see everyone next week.